Okay, so in the world of filmmaking, there are all these like rules and just use cases that are sprinkled all over YouTube.
I'll be telling you everything you need to know about the rule of thirds.
This is the cinematographer's Bible.
A ton of Hollywood movies use this technique. This is one of the first things you learn when you're in film school.
And so I decided that I wanted to test out some of these theories for myself. Sometimes you just kind of have to go out and practice and play around and see what you can get. And thank you to Storybox for sponsoring a part of this video. Download unlimited stock media at one set price with Storyblocks. Now, the first technique I use is color theory. Now, you see this all the time in big movies, how they break down how certain colors actually work well together and they look great on camera aesthetically. So I decided I wanted to try to practice one of my favorite movies' color theories, and that is Joker. Now, for this project, my friend Pablo reached out to me about this idea that he had, and I absolutely knew that this would be a fun project to just play with. There was no client, there was no expectation, so we could pretty much do whatever we wanted. And so for this color theory, I decided I wanted to go with this green and amber look. Now, in order to make this feel realistic, we decided to go with a green that kind of matched more of a fluorescent look, and then to set practical amber lights into the actual frame. Now, we also knew that we were going to be working with some sparks, shooting them in slow motion, which I knew was going to look amazing, but this was also going to help go hand in hand with this color theory that we already set up. The other thing, in order to sort of take it to the next level, is that we did do quite a bit of set design, from being able to not only control the light by literally using gaff tape to block out certain areas, but we also went ahead and made sure that there was no additional lighting throwing off our look overall. Now, as far as the color theory goes, personally, I think it actually turned out really good. I mean, it absolutely created a vibe for this project, and I think that it looked really cinematic. I hate that word, but it did. It felt really cinematic on camera, which actually inspired me to keep shooting even more. Now, the next technique we use is one that I almost never get a chance to use, but I absolutely love it, and that is haze. Now, I did not use the actual fog machine. I used a real hazer, and let me tell you, there is a difference. There is something about the way that a hazer actually diffuses the light in the room, and this is one of the areas where we did not have much of a budget, but I actually went out and purchased a hazer specifically for this project. Now, truth be told, it's not the most expensive hazer in the world. It's still pretty cheap, but it absolutely went a long way to diffusing the atmosphere in this room. Now, using a hazer definitely requires a lot of work, because as you're moving from shot to shot, you have to make sure that you keep a consistency of haze. And this is where sort of I learned that haze is great, but it's way more work than you think. See, there were definitely times where I would get a shot and we would have haze in the shot, and then the next shot I get ready to start rolling and it's like, oh, there's not enough haze, we need to add more haze to the room. And so you use your haze machine, then you have to actually kind of spread the haze out throughout the room. It's a way more work than you think, especially if you've never done it before. But I do love how it actually turned out. We actually did later on use haze again in another one of my projects where we were shooting with the Komodo, this time the Komodo X with a dancer, and I learned that it's much easier to work with haze in a can than it is to actually work with an actual hazer. I know that's not going to be the same experience for everyone, but for me, that was key. Now, the next technique I was really excited to test out was I wanted to play around with top-down lighting. Now, truth be told, as I said earlier, we had basically no budget for this project. So when it came to the top-down lighting, we probably didn't do this the way that most people would recommend doing it, but it worked out for our project, and ultimately it allowed us to test out these looks so that way we could use them again in future projects. For the top-down lighting, I just literally used a dome and a chip light, and we just shot our light down over our subject. Personally, I love the way this looked. It allowed us to be able to get tons of shots really quickly and almost be able to shoot in full 360 without having to worry about resetting up our light constantly. We did need to use a bounce in order to actually fill in some of the shadows, but personally, this was such an easy way to actually operate. The shots looked absolutely amazing, and because we had our light on wheels, I was able literally to wheel our light from one area to another in order to ensure consistency. Now, the next technique that I absolutely could not agree with more is using organic movement. Now, I know it is so easy to buy a gimbal and want to get gimbal shots for everything, but trust me, going handheld and going with locked off shots or going with shots that are literally rigged to something that's going to get you organic movement just adds a level of weight to your project. Now, for this, I actually use an easy rig primarily just to sort of help my back and my arms to get through the day, because we were filming all day for this project. project, but having that organic movement felt so natural on camera. The other thing that I loved was actually rigging my Komodo to the motorcycle in order to get some other organic movements. Now, yes, this did introduce some additional shake, but with the Komodo and the original global shutter, personally, I thought this movement still felt very good. Was it super clean? No, but I didn't want that. I wanted something that was a little bit more rugged and that felt like it was real. And this actually added a certain level of emotion to the video that otherwise I didn't expect. This is one of those areas where it comes down to pretty much just play and see what you can get. Now, obviously, I would not just play on a professional set, but because I wanted to see what was possible and actually see the footage post the project, it really informs a lot of the decisions that I have been making going forward. The other benefit by moving with this more organic style was the fact that I also was able to get a more variety of shots. Now, when we were inside the garage getting these shots, it was super easy to be able to move around the space in order to try different things. I tried moving with the subject, and I also tried just kind of putting the camera in different places, trying out different lenses. And this is something that I would strongly recommend to anyone else who's aspiring to try new things in their filmmaking. Is it's okay to try stuff even if it sucks. I mean, the truth of the matter is that after this project was done and I was happy with a lot of the shots that we got, we had some really pretty stuff, but we didn't really have much of a story. I mean, the truth is that I had not really thought about story too much, even though when Pablo originally reached out to me, he sent me a video that originally compelled me because of the story. And that is the one probably biggest takeaway I had with this, was that even though we had gotten some beautiful shots, we lit everything perfectly, when I cut all the clips together, we didn't have a story. And because of that reason, the project just still felt a little flat. And that was probably my biggest takeaway, was that story is even still king no matter how beautiful your shots are. And that's one thing I would 100% just recommend to anyone out there who is trying new things. It's absolutely fine to try getting pretty shots, but if you can still work on that craft of creating a compelling story, that's absolutely gonna help. So in order to actually help save this project, we had to mix in a little bit of voiceover and a little bit of stock footage, but ultimately that's how we were able to salvage this and turn it into an actual story. Now, in order to get that stock footage, we did use today's video sponsor, Storyblocks. If you are a filmmaker or content creator who is looking for amazing stock footage, Storyblocks is 100% a place you should definitely check out. Because when you sign up for Storyblocks, you sign up on a monthly subscription, but the best part is then you get unlimited access to their over 1 million assets. And we're talking not only stock video, but they also have video assets, they have editing templates, music, and photos. And so you can utilize all of those assets underneath your subscription in order to use it for your projects. Another good thing is everything you download from them is also royalty free. So this means you're not gonna have to deal with licensing issues or getting your content strike down or copyright claimed. So you can utilize this for all of your creative works. If by some reason you are not already signed up for Storyblocks, I do strongly recommend that you check out my link in the description in order to sign up, because this is now the time for you to be able to take advantage of all of the amazing things that Storyblocks has to offer. And if you edit in DaVinci Resolve, you'll also be happy to know that now they have editing assets for you as well, including editing templates and animations. So you should definitely check out Storyblocks today using my link. But without further ado, now that you guys have a full idea of everything that went into making this spec piece, I'm happy to show you guys the final product.
In every heart, there's a yearning for freedom, a desire to break free from the ordinary. It's not just about the destination, but the journey. With every turn of the wrench, every spark from the torch, we're not just building machines, we're crafting dreams. These are not mere tools and metal. They're extensions of our spirit, vehicles of our ambition, the city lights, the open roads. They're not just backdrops, they're canvases where the dance of freedom and adventure paints the story of our lives. Here, in the harmony of man and machine, we find our true selves. This is a call to the dreamers, the adventurers, to those who believe in the power of a journey. The road ahead is yours to shape, a testament to the fire that burns within. Let the roar of the engine match the beat of your heart. The road is open, the adventure awaits. Where will it take you?
All right, guys, thanks so much for checking out this video. I'd love to get your feedback on it. This video actually sat on my hard drive for almost a year, so would love to still get your feedback on it. I've obviously grown a lot since releasing this, but let me know what your thoughts were. Also, if you haven't already, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button. Would love to have you join the fam.